Hi, I'm Capt.Monte with Texas Fishing Tips, and this is your weekly fishing report. This week we still been working on the edge of Fina Docks over here, up against these pilings and these rock piles. There have been good fish all around here. If you catch it on an incoming, or slow outgoing, seems like the fish are a lot more cooperative. We've been catching sheephead, we've been catching slot reds, we've been catching speckled trout, black drum, so a little bit of everything, all down these rock jetties working on the side of this bulkhead here. If I don't find them there, now I come out in front, and same deal, slow incoming or outgoing tide, and throwing them live shrimp with just a little 1/8 ounce weight right up on them rocks and letting it fall off with that tide. And we've been catching good numbers of limits all down these rocks, all the way down to the ferries. If you just stay on this rock coming down towards the ferries, there's been bigger trout down here that haven't had the pressure on them like they have out in front. But there's been good fish all around this area right through here in Port Aransas. If you come on the other side of Port Aransas up against this marina rocks, these granite rocks right along the harbor here, there have been good speckled trout free lining with live shrimp. We've been also coming out here to the jetties when weather permits. South or North Jetty has been holding slot reds, bull reds, black drum, speckled trout right up on the rocks, live shrimp. You can use a little weight or free line it when you're working on the points. If I'm out there in that deeper water, that 20 to 30 foot, then I'm putting a 3 ounce weight with the number 3 Kell hook. The bigger shrimp, you're going to find the bigger reds. You know, there's bull reds out here. There's upper slot reds. There's black drum out here. Their sheephead are bigger out here on the jetties. So right now there's been a lot of good fish on both sides of the jetties, on the north and south side. We've also been coming over here to the shipwreck. The jetties are starting to show up over here in front of the lighthouse on this shipwreck over here. A lot of hang-ups. You can either free line it, just depending on how hard that tide is moving. If it's not moving too bad, I'll free line it. But if the tide's moving, then I'll put like a 3/8 ounce weight right on top of the hook, knock a rig, and send them live shrimp that way. The current has been going out in the mornings. It's been ripping out, so if you'll hit these sloughs coming in to the back lakes, Big Slough, or right here in front of the lighthouse, any of these little guts have been holding redfish and speckled trout all through here. So what I'm doing with that is I'll either use cut mullet or live shrimp with the weight, or I'll even use a popping cork through there. If you'll come back down and heading towards Aransas Pass, these little guts that come into the back lakes, especially when that tide is going out as low as it has been, there's been good redfish coming out of these back lakes and just going into these deeper channels. Another good area that I like targeting during these low tides is the edge of South Bay, right on that flat where it drops off into this deeper bay. There have been redfish, there have been black drum, there have been a few speckled trout. This little cut that comes back here into the back lakes by these duck blinds, this time of the year, wintertime, is loaded with black drum and redfish. So all of this area around South Bay, all the way back to Port Aransas, has been holding good fish. If I don't find them there, then I've been coming up underneath the bridge and coming back into Sailboat Channel. Working down here on this point, around this bend right through here. There's a couple telephone poles that are submerged right there on that point. There have been sheephead, there have been black drum, especially if that tide is real low. The redfish have been through there, and all down this gut all the way to the back that dumps into Brown Root Flats here has been holding good redfish and black drum. So all this area coming through Sailboat all the way down to Summer Hole, which is back here in the very back. There's some lakes, little coves. The black drum and redfish have been hanging out in all these little areas around Sailboat Channel also. So get you some live bait or your favorite dead bait or even artificial right now. I've been using a lot of Berkeley Gulps, white with the green chartreuse tail. It's been my favorite, and we've been catching a lot of good fish just on artificial. So pick your favorite bait. Feel confident in the spot you're using. Look for the bait that's moving in the water. If you'll find that bait, you're going to find your fish. Those of you coming out of Aransas Pass, good place to start targeting them fish is come over here by the old terminals and the Klondikes. All this area right through here on these rock piles, black drum, redfish, with a few speckled trout, depending if you're using artificials or live shrimp or even dead shrimp. But all around these rocks, this is the time of the year that them fish get stacked in here, and we produce good fish all around from the terminal to the Klondikes. Depending how cold it gets, when it starts getting colder, them fish will drop off over here in California Hole. And this is all good area with artificials or live shrimp under popping corks or free lining. So all this area around the California Hole, all the way back up to Estes, just depending what that wind is like, we'll get drift socks on and start drifting from Estes all the way back. And if you do that, you'll wind up catching good numbers of trout. You'll pick up a few reds. If you're using live shrimp, well, depending on the size of the shrimp, depending on the size of the fish, seems like the bigger shrimp are catching the bigger reds. Smaller shrimp are catching, smaller reds, but then they're catching the bigger trout. Same deal. Plastics right now under popping corks, good idea. You catch a lot of fish that way. So all this area over here between Aransas Rockport, holding good fish. Coming out of Port Aransas, again, over here on the East Flats. This is a good time of the year to be targeting them fish up here in the shallows. The tide has been out, and them fish come out this shallower flat back here, and they'll start dropping right here on this edge. So good reds back here, bigger trout are back here in East Flats. All good areas all the way back towards the cabins. Even been catching a few flounder through here. So black drum also. So that area right here in East Flats over by the cabins been holding good fish. I've also been running down here to Flato Cut, especially with that tide been like it is, working live shrimp right on the edge up in these little grass beds and right here on the bank. There's a little highway that kind of runs, a little sandbank that runs right on that edge, and them reds just run back and forth. Black drum have been back here in the back corner. Dead shrimp, just with the lead head, has been working real well. If you have that north wind, then start jumping on the other side and start working this edge over here. Because them fish, there's a lot of little coves that come off back in the back of these back little lakes back here. And them fish will fall right here on this edge of this deep water. Been holding good fish through there. Also, if you want to catch you some sheephead, out here on the island, up against these rocks on the inside, we've been catching speckled trout. We've been catching pretty good numbers of sheephead through here. You might have to work through your size limit. Sheephead got to be 15 inches. So just weed through them, but there's some good ones in there right now. Thanks for watching. I'm Capt.Monte.